Put you in the brig for what you've done, but I won't do it.
What the hell's going on out here?
Talking Dicks Comedy Podcast, Volume 213. We're the spinoff of the web series The Two Dicks. It's on YouTube. Check it out. Detectives, 1950s comedy. And I'm Al Romas, currently sitting in St. Thomas on the Wonder of the Seas, the newest, biggest, most beautiful goddamn ship in the world. And that's Al Ducharme. He's on a ship too. He's on the. What are you on? What's that old tug's name?
2008, I believe she was launched, or at least accepted by a Royal Caribbean.
So you had it
Radiance of the
sailing
Seas.
toward the scrap heap as we speak.
Well, she was in dry dock last year, so they did some tweaking here and there, and it looks pretty good. But it does have some classic cruise ship appearances, and my particular cabin is deck 2. So they really haven't done.
They're really
much.
looking out for you.
Yeah.
They're looking out for you on this one.
I used to get junior suites.
Deck 2.
Someone put
Dude.
us.
Wow. Who'd you piss off?
There's got to be a list where it's like the juggler gets the junior suite. So he does a fly on.
Yeah.
Billy does a
I don't know
fly
that
on.
happened.
He gets the junior. I used to get those.
The juggler has gotten above the comedian on the manifest for cabin allotments. So I don't know when that happened. It happened though. And I mean, they're jugglers, for God's sake. They'll be happy on deck 0. They don't give a fuck. They're circus people. They're used to being on trains and, living with midgets.
We are the Lollipop Guild.
This is ridiculous. Shouldn't be in a junior suite.
It's the Talking Dicks comedy podcast, folks. So there you go. We're politically incorrect, but by default because of our age. And that's it.
What? Whose age? My birthday is next week, for God's sake.
I know. I've already celebrated it this morning.
87.
With that lotion they give you here on the cruise ship. Wow, that was weird, huh?
Let me tell you something about these spectacles I'm wearing.
Those are John Lennon.
I needed a new pair of sunglasses, and they're prescription because I can't see when I drive.
Mm-hmm.
So I get these. I like them. They're great. I'm like, oh, these are awesome. Then I leave on the cruise the next day.
Mm-hmm.
So that was about a week ago. And I'm up there, with my cigar and my phone, and I'm reading shit. I'm like, how come I can't see anything? I can't read my phone. My screen there's nothing there. Yeah. When Daddy got these, the girl goes, do you want them polarized? I go, sure. Like, what the fuck do I know? Polarized. Everyone had polarized frames back in the day, didn't they? So I go, yeah. Well, then I do a little Google, and polarized frames will wipe out any kind of a LED, LCD phone, anything. You're not seeing.
She was on the upsell because what was it? $90 more, $110 more, $60 more. How much was it?
It was low. I think it was like 20 or 30.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. If you spent the 90, you would have been able to get the 2022 Polaroids, not the 1974. See, these are the Joe Biden Polaroids, and these are actually called the Senators, and they're not a knockoff of Ray-Ban. It's a company that makes them, and but they're a lookalike. And
what was the price difference between those and the Ray-Bans?
Hundreds.
There you go. So it's a knockoff. That's the definition of a knockoff.
Yeah, it is. It's got it. It does. It has the CIA Secret Service or something. Look.
Oh yeah. Yeah. They're big though. Are those men's? I don't know. Those look. Are you George Costanza here? They look like ladies.
They look like ladies.
Well, they're too big.
Well, here's the thing: we got to protect our eyes. The UVAs and the UVBs and all that shit comes in from the sides. And
all right.
And when you get those John Lennon glasses that you have, he had long hair, so he could cover it.
No, but these cover my eyes, which I like. My other
me
ones were
see.
too
Let me
small,
see.
and they weren't covering the whole thing. And
Oh,
now
so those are a little
covered.
bigger. Those are like in
These are
juniors.
bigger, yeah.
In the
These are
women,
bigger.
the little girls section in the department store, juniors.
Well, don't get weird. I'm just pointing out your glasses look large. The tack,
Compared to yours,
like,
yeah. I mean, let's compare a lot of stuff that of ours. I have bigger stuff.
hey now,
What?
all right, let's do it. Don't get some. This will get some Patreon viewers. Whip it out there. I'll be like Milton Berle. I'm going to take out just enough to win.
Wow, we talked about that. I think a year ago, 2 years ago,
Sure,
about
sure.
the rumors, and there
Those
are
were
some
not rumors.
eyewitnesses. There are
Yeah.
eyewitnesses at the Friars Club in the gym.
Yeah,
Milton Berle, the late Milton Berle, Uncle
he was
Miltie.
gifted.
He was gifted,
blessed.
well endowed.
Mhm.
He had
Yeah.
some significant packaging
He did,
south of the
and
belt buckle.
yeah, good for Uncle Milty. Hey, by the way, last night I want to tell you something because we were talking about time before. You just turned your clocks back an hour. We turned ours forward the other night, but they didn't put they no longer give the paper compass, the paper planner.
They went
type thing.
paperless, yeah.
Paperless,
Environmentally
yeah.
friendly.
Yeah, and they didn't put a thing about time change, so nobody knew that it was a time change unless you looked at the app. Maybe it was on the app.
And if
I don't know.
you have to refresh the app too, right?
Yeah. So
there's a lot going on in that app. There's too much, especially
there's a lot happening.
When your clientele is north of a majority of your clientele is north of 60.
Well, I'm on the wonder, sir. Our clientele's young here. We're vibrant.
Oh, because you're a new ship. You're a brand new ship.
Brand new goddamn ship. But so we did the show
we actually
night.
have it. We had 12 burials at sea on the Radiance.
So last night we're doing a show 8 10 o'clock. I've done 18 shows in 7 days. This is my day off today. First day off. I've already taken half a gummy and had 9 coffees, and I'm going to start drinking in about an hour. So
that's
18
nuts.
shows.
Why is that overkill? Days. What? That's the most. 17 was the most I did, and I bitched and moaned, and it dropped down to 16, and then it was like 14 for a while, and I was like, okay, I'm good with 14.
But normally it would be 11 out here. We did the 2-day media cruise thing, and we did 3 shows a night every night on that.
In what venue? The theater?
In the attic. The attic.
Oh, that's why. If you had done the theater, you would have done 1 show, maybe 2.
Yeah. No, they wanted to do them in the attic, very adult shows and all that. And so last night I'm back there at the 8 o'clock show. So I get in there, and me, I get in there at 5 to 8, and the other comic, Paul Ogata, he's not there, and he's always early. So I'm like, hey, where's Paul? And they're like, I don't know, we're looking for him. So I'm like, oh, that's weird. All right. So then 8 o'clock comes, and how you switch each night. The comedians, there's 2 comics. One guy will open, one guy will close, and the next night it gets rotated, reversed. So I had opened the night before, so I was going to close last night. So I'm sitting there, and 8 o'clock, and then the sound guy comes in. He goes, hey, you have any idea where Paul is? I'm like, no, I have no idea. He goes, well, we're looking for him. We can't find him.
Paul is dead.
So
Paul is dead. That was a Beatles reference if you're a non-Beatles fan.
I liked it. That was good and well done. I like that. Very well done. But 8 o'clock comes and they go, so I go, well, I'll go on. I mean, he's on the ship. So I'll go on. And when he gets here, give me the light and we're good. So then I do basically doing a half hour. So I do the half hour. And then I look to the left, I see the light. I'm like, oh, perfect. I get off. And he was up at the buffet. He never knew there was a time change the whole day. So he went to eat at 7 o'clock. And the show, it was really 8 o'clock. So he's up there, and he said some production staff found him, said, dude, you got to go. Let's go. And ran him back to his room. He changed his shirt, and then they ran him into the club, and he made it. It was perfect timing, really. But it was close to an evening with Al Ramos.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, there was Simeon. Simeon was on the show too, right?
No, Simeon left on Sunday.
So was it back to a 2-person show?
2-person.
I
Yeah.
say 2-person instead of 2-man because I don't want to get all
Why is
those
that?
emails and texts and letters and messages.
Oh, from women who, yeah. Yeah.
Or usually all these rules are made up by some uptight white dude that is married with children and in a straight marriage, but he's secretly gay.
Are we speaking about anybody we know?
Everybody we know.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Okay.
It could be me. I don't know.
Well, that's what I meant.
I'm still not sure.
I'm
still not sure where I am on this, right? I haven't ventured to the other side, but
I've been sure for years.
Well,
ain't no mystery.
I'm leaving
there.
my options open. I'm just saying, see what this thing, let's see how this works out,
Yeah, man. So where are you today? Where's the locale?
Well, I thought we were going to be in a little port town, which a lot of people are not familiar with. It's the coast of Mexico. It's called Progreso, and I've been to it once before, probably a year ago, I think, and I think it's new to the cruise lines. So we did Cozumel because it smells. My cousin Mel, and then we went to the Costa. What's the second one there? Oh,
Costa Maya.
Costa Maya. That's how you say it, right?
Yeah.
Costa Maya.
Yeah.
And then Progreso, but the cruise mapper, online cruise mapper that we go by was off a day. So, but the itineraries have been changing. So don't go by cruise mapper. Double check.
I don't use this cruise mapper, so I don't really know of it.
It was it's pretty accurate 90% of the time, but again.
Well, why do I need to use that if I'm on the ship and then they just take me to the island? What am I looking at?
True. Well, normally on our first day, we get what's called the compass, which is you and I know it's a first day. It says of the cruise and what's going on. It gives you the entire itinerary, but the itinerary was not in the paper, nor was the cruise director's name, and the cruise director's channel wasn't on. So
does any of that matter?
No. Well, I'm telling you because I told you that we don't have a cruise director on this cruise, and I thought maybe he was in COVID isolation.
Well, someone's running the thing. It's got to be.
All I kept hearing was a woman's voice making announcements, and they said, "No, Ken is our cruise director. Ken is." And
it can be a woman cruise director. Don't be sexist. You can have a woman. She can handle that job.
Well,
the 1970s showed us that.
Yes, that's true.
What's her name? What was her name?
Julie.
Julie. I'm your cruise director, Julie.
What was the actress's name? She had a big coke problem. She ruined her career, right?
That's a good. It's a good one. I can get this. God damn it. Yeah. It's.
You have 5 seconds.
Lauren.
Your answer.
I'm right
please.
there. I'm right there. Lauren Tweez.
Oh,
Lauren
I think it is Tweez or Tweed, right?
Boo.
In that bulb. I'm going to give it to you.
Tewees, however you want to pronounce it, but I think it's Lauren. I think that's her.
She was a little hottie, right? Did we all have crushes on her as teens?
No.
Oh, you like the bartender?
No.
You like Gopher?
Isaac. I'm Isaac.
You're an Isaac guy.
It's a full cruise ship, and we have a bartender. Can you imagine the lines of that? It's insanity. I'm Isaac, your bartender.
Now, granted, the cruise ships weren't nearly as large as they are these days, capacity-wise, but still, you had 1,500. You had 1,500 passengers on that Love Boat, right?
Yes.
1,500.
I would think so. Yeah, they would have to have at least one
other
huge
bartender back then, because most cruise ships at the time were 300 to 500, 600. So
yeah, and the doctor went around banging all the women. Everyone thought that was fine. No one had a problem with that.
Would you like to see my stethoscope?
He's just banging left and right. And the chief purser is retarded. And you have one bartender and a 12-year-old girl as a cruise director. Okay. I'm buying this whole scenario.
And they would always go to Porto Viata.
Yeah. And then they have those old, like, has-been celebrities who'd always be on it. Here's, Gloria de Havilland. You remember those intros? And you would just be like, who? And
yeah, a lot of a lot of like well
50
employed during the
stars.
40s and 50s
Yeah.
and 60s, even when their careers started to go off. They would
That was the go-to.
They would do Love American Style. They do the Love Boat, Hollywood Squares. They would just make all these
Fantasy Island,
Password game shows. But hey, you know what? When you're rocking and rolling for 20 years, which is or 30, which is amazing for an actor to work pretty steady. And all of a sudden it comes to a screeching halt. You got to do something.
But I remember, like,
you're in your 40s and 50s. You're like,
I remember asking my mom, like, who, and my mother goes, she was a big star in the 50s, like big, or this guy, who's this guy? And she's like, a major movie star. But now they're 75, and it's like, you know,
I don't even think they were that old. Some of them may have been, but
they probably weren't. They were young.
But you got to remember,
they looked like shit.
The 60 and 65-year-olds back in the 70s,
right?
They dressed like they were still living in the 50s. So
Carol O'Connor, Archie Bunker was 42.
Right.
42.
Dan Gerstlauer, who was a guest on our podcast, I told you this before. I did some theater with him, and in plays, he would always play the father or the grandfather. They put a little gray in his hair, and it was like, that's him. That's the old guy.
It's funny how now everyone's now, instead of like saying like that guy or girl looks like shit, now they're old souls.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, they're an old soul, which means, I don't know what that really means, what you're really saying there, if someone's an old soul, but I don't think it's a compliment. Al's modeling his he's got a one-man show in the works. We're excited about the Ted Kaczynski story.
No, I was
that
pointing
going,
out,
by the way?
I was pointing it out that I told you I was letting my beard grow out, and I did a little landscaping, a little coiffing.
Yeah,
you didn't know.
How's the one-man show happen? Is it good? Is it gonna be? Because you were on the fence. You said maybe it'd be a musical. And I thought that was interesting. Take Kaczynski, make it a musical. You know, I like it. So,
well, I got the first draft going, but I'm not
really. Can you share? Can you share a little with us?
Yes.
Like, what's the? Yeah?
I need this bomb. Sorry.
I thought that was your opening when you do stand up.
Zoinker! Chapow! Fire! Everybody down! little war action there. Did you enjoy that video I made? Did you enjoy that? Did you chuckle at the video I made of me being on the cruise ship and saying that you were on stage because we were?
Yes. Yeah, I took it positively, even though I think it was a slam. I took it as I was rocking the stage and rocking the ship. So I took it that way, and I was like,
I left it open for interpretation. I said,
good. That's how I interpret it, because I want to be a very positive. I got to throw positivity out there more and more. So I thought, well, that's very nice of Alfred to make a video and complimenting my work on the stage. I appreciate it.
Here's a link in the comments below if you want to check it out. It's 20 seconds long or so. It's just me pretending that the ship is going down, and then I say that Al Romas is performing on stage.
So it was really meant to say Al Romas is bombing and the ship is sinking, but I took it again. I'm rocking the stage, and that's so, you know, I went that way
left open for interpretation.
I don't think there was any interpretation in your mind, but that's how I took it, sir. I'm just saying.
Well, I know
what goes on in that evil brain of yours.
Well, I could have made it worse.
I know you.
I could have made it worse. So
That's true. That's true. I took half an edible before we record.
Yeah.
Good.
You mentioned that. Unless you took another half, then you would be a whole.
No, I mentioned the first half?
Yeah. You said I'm off. I had 12 cups of coffee and I had an edible. A half an edible.
That's right.
That's okay.
You know what? I'm working on a bit. I'm gonna run it by you, and then I'm going to run it by you. Just here's the thing: edible. Okay, we have edibles, but Kelly wrote me or called whatever the day and said there was an edible arrangement arrived. So I thought, wouldn't that be interesting if it's a joke, but edible we use as, you know, weed. An edible arrangement is the fruit delivery thing. So we're using the same word. So my bit basically would be like something like, hey, someone called me. Oh, my girlfriend called me. Got edibles, and an edible arrived, and then I come home and I'm like, what? This sucks. Like I can't get high licking a
daisy.
you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then, but then I thought $1 billion idea would be put edibles with edible arrangements. Then you eat an edible,
right,
and then a half hour later you eat the arrangement. That's
your
$1 billion
munchies,
idea.
the munchies, as they
Billion
would say.
with a B.
Billion.
Tie that in.
Oh,
come on, man.
You got to hammer that out. I like that.
But
it is funny how you take the two words, how it's used one way, and then how it pertains to another thing. For instance, most recently, there's been a nuclear fusion breakthrough.
Yes.
And that's supposed to be a good thing, but then a COVID breakthrough case is a bad thing. So I don't like using the word breakthrough with nuclear. I just don't like putting them together. So I think there's a bit there. There's something.
Get busy on that one.
That was the premise. The premise.
Yeah.
I'm presenting the
premise. It's like the edible thing. I think I think the edible arrangement people are going to have to change their name in the near future. I don't think edible is so now thought of with weed gummy that I think the edible arrangement is going to have a problem and maybe change their name somehow.
Yeah, because edibles become a verb, and in one sense, right?
And I mean, anyone under 30, if you go, hey, there's an edible arrangement, they're going to think it's a big weed.
Wow.
Flower.
I'm going to get a bouquet of weed.
Which would be lovely. And
so an edible is a combination of
anyone you can
cheeses,
just
peanuts, fruits. Is that what it is?
What's that?
What is the
edible arrangement?
Yeah, is it like cheeses?
No, it's fruit. It's fruits.
Okay.
Cut into look like flowers.
Right, it is. Okay.
Then usually chocolate strawberries.
Edibles.
But I mean, they're delish. They're delish. But yeah, if anybody wants to send me edibles or weed next week, my birthday coming up, big birthday bash down in Clearwater Beach. It's a very private affair, though.
Very private, but I'll announce it. My birthday. Very private.
Very private. Yes. Yes.
He doesn't talk about doing edibles. He doesn't talk about his personal intake of drugs. No.
But I'm going to go to Corona Tuesday, meet a couple of buddies, and have a celebratory stick. I owe you a stick. We lost it.
Wow.
I lost a bet last night, which is unfair, really. But
what, you're going to go referee call
betting.
or because they lost their football quarterback? They lost their
quarterback in the third play. So but that's betting. Vegas doesn't give you your money back if someone gets hurt.
It's a physical game, and they're wearing helmets and pads. But let me tell you, when they're twice the size of a soccer player, and they're running towards one another to kill one another, there's more risk of injury.
Have you watched any of this soccer, by the way?
I just
can't.
It's not my thing. If I'm with the right people, soccer people, which there's not many of them, I can. Like,
when are you with soccer people?
Well, Kevin Flynn played professional soccer.
Oh yeah,
yeah. When it first started in the States back in the late '80s, early '90s.
With Pele.
No, he
didn't. Pele bring it over.
Was it he? Yeah, he was the big Pele thing, right? But
Pele came over in like '75 or '76 with the New York Cosmos, I think, and. And now I bet I'd love to look up what he got paid, because everybody was like, "Oh my god!"
No,
he's $500,000.
He said he was in a bus. It was like a farm team. It was like they were in a bus and they were staying in motels and shit, and they would just go and play these. He was making a living at it, but not much.
I thought when he came to America, he was a star over in Europe. They paid him a lot of money because he was going to be the face of soccer. That was my take. I thought.
Yeah, you're talking about Pele. I'm talking about Kevin Flynn.
Oh, I'm talking about Pele.
Well,
yes, Pele.
Well, Beckham, when he came here, they gave him like $200 million.
No, but I'm saying it was the 70s, so I wonder what it was. You look it up now. It's probably like $1 million.
Yeah, but $1 million
what I mean?
in the 70s was
Then big
3
money.
million now, right? 4 million.
I don't know.
And he had
I don't
already
know.
he was already wealthy. He was doing it
I
for
like
the love of the game. And he was or later in his career, he was well into his late 30s, right?
Yeah, he played for what? Yeah, maybe 40 even. For the Love of the Game, good movie. Did you like it? Kevin, baseball pitcher. You remember that one?
Oh, yeah, yeah. He had
He
this
made like 3 baseball movies in a row.
yeah,
Bull Durham,
Costner. Yeah.
Field of Dreams.
I don't know about the row, but he made him within a decade.
I think if you look, it's like within 5 years, all 3, something like that. He banged 3 out. But where do you put? People are torn on for Love of the Game. Where do you go on that one, Alfred?
It's not a complete movie. It was interesting. I watched it. It was a little, the girl breaks down in a car and then she knows nothing about sports and he's already a famous pitcher and super wealthy. It's that, it's kind of like that knight in shining armor, pretty
Right.
woman, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And then he's trying to
I
find
think
himself. And
I think it's the weakest of his 3, but it's good, pretty good movie
yeah,
though.
I like that his
Not bad.
masseuse in Florida at his condo in Florida was a hot babe who was he was banging. So she was like a hooker
Okay.
masseuse, right?
Well, I don't remember that part, but
What?
I'll take your word for it. I don't remember that part.
Remember his girl, what was it? Kelly Preston? Who was it?
Yeah, the girl, she died recently.
Yeah,
wasn't that
Travolta's
Travolta's
fake wife. Yeah.
What does that mean?
Well, isn't it rumored that Travolta is gay and they weren't together when she died? He flew.
Oh,
he.
Where was he?
I know somebody who was with Travolta.
Oh, really?
Like he flew in. I guess he was with her when she was actually dying, but not. She was already hospitalized. Rumor.
Well,
but I will say
some news here.
I will say in less than a month.
Who was Travolta with?
He was in Florida during COVID,
Well,
staying in a beautiful Florida place, and he had company. I'm not going to mention names.
Mail company? Is that where you're going with this?
Yes.
But yes.
But
I mean,
you could say this is my assistant Todd,
right?
Who's 30 years younger than me, and he doesn't have a shirt on because we're on vacation right now.
Todd's hairless.
He's a swimmer.
Yeah. Those rumors. I just think like he married what's her name, Kelly Preston, and they had kids, and it's just a long way to go. Why don't it just come out? I mean, what is
my college
that's
professor?
A lot of work.
Flamboyantly.
Flamboyant,
very much in the theater. Theater professor. Yeah. He directed all the musicals, and he was very flamboyant. Very flamboyant. He had all his flamboyant friends with him, and nothing wrong with that. But here's what I had a problem with: he lived an hour away, and we had a cast party at his house, and we went, and his wife and 2 teenage boys were all there, and he was not gay anymore. He was like, "Hey, how are you? Welcome. Thanks for coming to the party." Yeah. And then we get to the captain. All right, everybody, get in place. It was like Robin Williams doing a gay voice. It was like,
that was
Birdcage. It was like
Saturday Night Live back in the day with Dana Carvey. Remember, he was an effeminate father, and everybody was so he had a family, but he was the most effeminate guy. And
I knew.
Why does everyone think I'm gay? You'd always say that. Why do you think I'm gay?
I had a couple of theater professors who were very much like that. I will say Michael Romano was married, and it's interesting. Both of these guys, their wives had these dresses, and they both wore white pearls, and they were like church-going ladies that were just totally in the dark about it, and just, we're going to church.
Yeah, but those are always the wildest women, and those church ladies with the pearls and they're
because their husbands are gay and they're not getting it.
Yeah, so it's wild. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yep.
Oh yeah. My parents used to, not that my parents were wild, but
Yep,
they,
I know. I know their
they were
reputation.
pretty wild. They were pretty
God
wild.
bless their souls.
But they would do
Maniacs,
those
parties. Woo!
they would do those progressive dinners. Have you heard of those at church? So at a church group, progressive dinners. Now this is before DWIs existed, but you would start. Everyone would go to like house, and we'd have cocktails, and maybe a shrimp cocktail, but some booze. Then we're going to Bob's house. Drive over to Bob's. He's got an appetizer ready and some more booze. Then we drive to Peggy's house.
So
and some booze.
It was like a resident pub crawl.
Yeah, with cars and
cars
all over, just driving around bombed until you get home by the end of the night, progressively drunker and drunker.
That's what, when occasionally, if you did
Good
get pulled
days,
over,
man.
you'd cop and go, where do you live? About a mile away. All right, well, go slow. Have a good evening.
Oh, 100%. I used to get followed when I was 18. It was right before it happened, the DUI, the mad mothers, and all that mad cow and all that shit. And I remember getting pulled over, and the guy goes, where do you live? The cop. I go, I'm like, right down the road. And he's like, I'll follow you.
Right.
And then 6 months later, that guy was now arresting you.
Yep.
And which is, it's horse shit.
It happened to us. We had like a backpack with some beers in it, and we were driving around, and they were open containers.
Sam
we weren't
Adams.
hammered. We weren't hammered, but we got pulled over because we were being idiots.
I bet it was Sam Adams.
No, it wasn't Sam Adams. It was like
I bet it was Sam Adams.
Budweiser.
No. All right.
And they said, what's in the bag? And, we open it up. We got some beers. He goes, you're not supposed to drive around with that. And we had empty beer cans from like the weekend before, crunched up in the open on the floor. So then he said, all right, let's empty them out. So we had to go empty our beers out. Well, he had the flashlight on us. We threw them because no littering, put them back in your car.
No littering. Uh-huh.
And then he said, all right.
He's a tough cop.
We lived a mile away. He said, all right, have a good night, boys. Drive slow. And then he followed us for, half a mile. And we're like this, looking in the rearview mirror. And then we all went home. And that was it. It's
a lot better than going to jail. If you didn't hit anyone, you didn't kill it. I mean, I get the idea of it and all, and I think it's a good, obviously, you can't drive drunk. But that driving buzzed or just being, if you're a mile from home, let the guy go home.
But the population
in jail for the night
is like 40-50% more than it was. So there's more people.
There's too much fucking. Everybody's
a lot of fucking. Houses are built closer together. There's no more room,
No.
So everybody's crunched together, and there used to be like 1 or 2 cars per family, and now there's like 4 or 5 if everybody, adults are living at home.
Men, dogs, and cats living together. The whole thing. So it's a lot, man. Hey, we have a question, by the way. I want to get to our question.
You're telling me it's time for
questions.
Questions.
This is a good question. I think we may have covered it once before, but we've been going for 213 volumes. So here we go on Instagram. ABNA says, hey guys, what was the first concert you attended and where?
Oh wow.
Where was the first concert and who was it?
I think we answered this
Alfred,
just a few months ago, right? It
sounds familiar.
Or was it from our vault, the classic episode?
It could be I don't know. Let's answer it anyway.
But my answer is going to be the same.
And giggles. It was Barbara Streisand in Rhode Island's outdoor pavilion. Was that
the Sam Adams
college
pavilion.
Professor?
Yes, the Sam Adams.
The professor took you, your theater professor, and it was quite a night. Take the story from there. I remember that. Yeah.
And I was like, "What's that? Those are my wife's pearls. Take them out." Wow, that got weird again. There
was a lot of images there. I liked it. Yeah.
It was a multi-layered image.
they became anal beads in my head, and that was fun.
There you go.
I enjoyed
I was
that.
open for interpretation once again.
I find your comedy much better on Half a Gummy. I gotta be honest. I think you're very funny.
Well,
today.
that's why I hand them out during my shows. Hence
That's a smart move.
Hence my employment. See, I can be self-deprecating.
I like it. I like it. So who was? Because I don't remember, even if we did it 3 months ago. I don't remember. Who was your first concert?
Mine, I was 16 years old. Interesting enough. And you're talking about marijuana. The kids in my neighborhood, most of them were 2 to 4 years older than me, and they were all in college. I was still in high school, and I had a car. So they came home and said, "We got tickets to Earth, Wind, and Fire at the Providence Civic Center. You're driving us. Oh, by the way, we're going to have a couple of beers and get high." And one of the people we had to pick up was up in the Scituate area, which is kind of a wooded area, and it was very foggy. So I remember going up to get him and being high, and I could only see like 10 feet or 15 feet in front of the car, and I was going 15 miles an hour. And everybody goes, "You're fine. Just keep your fog lights on." And we drove out of the fog, got on the highway, and drove to Providence, which seemed like it was 100 miles away. It was really,
it can't be. It was the whole fucking state is 40 miles.
Speed bump between Connecticut and Massachusetts. It's the state of Rhode
exactly.
Island. Yeah.
Come on.
What was that? Rhode Island?
Earth, Wind, and Fire first. That's interesting. Call
something that it was. Their music was playing all the time in the late 70s. Sure. It was just constant and huge. Do you remember when it first started?
I just wouldn't think of little white boys in Rhode Island heading off to Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Well, I got to give that to Bobby Smith. He lived.
Bobby.
Bobby lived 2 houses down. Smitty.
Does he go Smitty or Bobby?
Smitty.
Yeah,
hey, Schmitty. Hey, Smitty.
Yeah, Schmitty. You throw a sh in there too.
Yeah, you do. Schmitty. He was instrumental because we were all listening to rock. And
damn right,
disco is for fags.
But
he was into the rhythm,
listening to disco,
rhythm and blues, and
he was all over it.
Black music and African American music now, but back then it was black music. And I have to say,
soul,
and we enjoyed it. It was that crossover fusion before it was, and it was all mixed in with dancing and disco and all that too. But we went to go see Earth, Wind, and Fire, and I was blown away. I was high as a kite, and they did magic. They made the whole band get on this lift and went up. They pulled a curtain around it. They pulled the curtain away, and they were gone. They started the show.
Yeah,
they pulled it. Yeah,
it's a trick.
It's a trick.
It's not real magic.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dude, I was so high. No. I was 16 and a half years old. It was amazing. And then they were passing a joint around in the concert. I'm like, you can do this? Because
that's the best. When you're that
take a hit. And total strangers. Here you go, buddy. And you just take a hit. You give it to
kids.
No COVID, no AIDS.
The kids today will never know that. That was so cool and fun when you were like a teenager and somebody handed you a joint at a concert.
And they didn't know you.
It was so great. Yeah, it was just, it was fun.
I'll tell you what, I did repeat.
Doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, I did repeat the smoking at a concert. I went to, what was it? The Garden, Madison Square Garden, to see Robert Plant open up for The Who. When was that? Like 20 years ago? 18, 20
I was going to say, yeah, I've seen a couple of the last Who tours. Plant was nowhere to be found.
And we were smoking.
Yeah.
We were smoking. Yeah. And people, it wasn't a stranger. It was within our group. But there was 6 or 8 of us. And we just...
Oh,
I was all paranoid. They go, relax. Everybody's smoking. Calm down.
I remember going. My first concert was Jethro Tull at Madison Square Garden with Whitesnake opening.
Wow,
that was
Whitesnake was a nobody back then. If they were opening for Tull.
Yeah, this is 1980, maybe 81 or 79, 80. I don't know. But talking about smoking, I was at another concert at the Garden. Yes was playing. Remember? Yes. Long distance run around. All that kind of. Long keyboard solos, kind of, snooze. So the guy in front of me is wearing this leather coat, and he's standing for yes. That's like the one band you don't stand for. It's like standing.
No.
It's Steely Dan.
No,
what are you doing?
That's a no. Yes.
Sit down. Sit down, sir. Yeah. So he won't. Every time he stands up, and we're like, "Can you sit down?" And he goes. One time he turns around and goes, "Fuck you," and he just stands there and watches it. And so we go, you know what? Fuck this guy. And my friend smoked. I didn't smoke. My friend smoked. So I said, give me that pack of cigarettes. So when they started up, what was their hit? What's the big hit? Yes.
I don't remember the title.
What's the big hit?
I can hear it in my head.
Not Long Distance Run Around, but the other one. They had another hit.
I can't even play it because we have to get permission. Otherwise, they flag us. Man.
It's that edible. My brain is not there now.
All right. Well, I'll find it and put it up. Right here it is. That's the song.
So they start the song. So I take a cigarette and I take it and then I push the end into the guy's leather coat. So I burn a hole right there. Then I take another one and I burn another hole right in his coat. Who's standing for fucking 2 hours?
Well, you're frozen, and I want to hear the rest of the story. Al tried to set another human being, on fire. He's an arsonist, and he's also a cannibal, so he likes to barbecue. All right, so
are we back?
Yes, you're back. You're back. So you're burning the second hole.
I burn the second hole, then I burn another hole under that, and then I burn 6 holes in a semicircle. So I make a smiley face on his beautiful, very expensive leather
Vinyl?
coat.
Was it leather? Yeah.
Leather. Yeah. And then I hit my friends. I go, let's get out of here. And we run out of there. So by the time the show ends, by the time he discovers he's got a smiley face hole in his, I'm on the train headed back to fucking Massapequa. All this.
Was he with other people? Do you remember if he was with?
No. So he was by himself.
That's why I was being
for 2 hours.
Yeah, when you say fuck you to somebody, then all bets are off. That means that that's your thing. You're standing up in front of... I've had people stand up in front of me at a concert, and I had no choice but to stand. But
2 hours.
I went to...
It's like you can sit down. It's a piano solo.
We went to go see U2 at Sullivan Stadium at the time. I think it was Sullivan's or Gillette Stadium. No, Sullivan Stadium before Gillette. And the basketball team. College basketball team was standing
just
in front of us, and they were all 6 foot to 6'5", and they all stood up. And no, it was just so we had to stand, and I was exhausted from standing because they're doing a 2.5-3 hour concert.
That's when you burn their jackets. It's therapeutic. It feels good.
Well, they had their
still to this
basketball
day.
Jerseys on, so I should have done that.
Well, you do something, man.
Yeah.
Hey, basketball, football. Hello, look at that segue. Let's look at our picks from last week in the league where they play
or pay.
For pay. Let's see. LD
I think I crushed
the Pats last week. LD had the Pats last week. I had the Cardinals. LD won that one. LD had the Buccaneers last week. I had the Niners. I won that one.
What?
And
you did. Yeah.
LD had the Bills. I had the Jets. He won that one. Alfredo went 2-1 last week. 2-1. And this week we have a new 3 games to pick. We don't use the points. We just pick them as we see fit in the league where they play.
For pay.
Giants, Commanders, Sunday night football. This is going to decide if the Giants season is over or the Commander season is over. They're same records. One will continue on. One will be done. Who do you like? Giants, Commanders.
Well,
and that's in Washington. They say.
I think the Giants are probably slightly better, but I'm going to go with the Commanders, even though I hate the new name. Just because you're going to go with your home team, the Giants. So I'll pick the Commanders based on that only.
Okay. Yeah, I'll take the Giants. Commanders, I think they've won 5 in a row. And they seem to have a quarterback. This guy, Heineke or Heineken, whatever, Heineke.
He has two
looks
Heinekens
good.
and an edible before he plays.
I like it. He's won 5 straight.
Yeah.
Fucking good.
And
I
he's
wish
not
Daniel
straight.
Jones would do it.
He's in the
sorry?
Troy Aikman Club.
I don't. Is that true?
I don't know.
Are you just making? Oh,
that's a hairy one, boy. I'll tell you.
Jesus Christ! That
I think
throwback.
I think I think I blew out my
1970s. 1970 there. 49ers with the Seahawks. 49ers crushed the Tampa Bay Buccaneers last Sunday, embarrassed them, and they're playing the Seahawks. I think the Seahawks need the game to continue to possibly see the playoffs. Geno Smith, yes.
I know it's
and
I know
Mr.
that's
Irrelevant.
Steve Smith.
Mr. Irrelevant is the quarterback for the Niners. He was the last pick in the draft.
Oh, the Purdy boy.
Purdy. He got a Purdy mouth.
I think that he was very focused. I think he also was pretty lucky. I think that team, the 49ers, they circled their wagons and they said, "Hey, we gotta be on top of it. We got to give this guy every opportunity, and we can't allow any errors here." And he was able to focus. Man, that's a lot of pressure.
He looked good.
I think he was lucky. I'd like to see him if he could recreate 70% of that. I think they have a good chance of winning. So I'm going to go with the 49ers.
Wow. All right. I like it. I'm taking the Seahawks because old Purdy, since he's Mr. Irrelevant and never played, there's no film of him. So they didn't know who this guy is.
Right.
Tampa Bay. You had no idea really. Now there's film. And I think the Seahawks and Pete Carroll this week
studying that
will devise a way.
Yeah.
They'll devise
they'll
a way.
Find his weakness and they go, that's what
they'll stop Mr. Purdy.
Yeah.
There's a reason he's Mr. Irrelevant. He didn't come in. He's not going to come in and light up the league.
But he had pinpoint. He did
but
have pinpoint accuracy, so
he looked good.
But
is that also Tampa being awful? Tampa seems to have fallen off a cliff.
There was some good coverage there. Tampa was all over those receivers, and they managed to thread the needle more than once. And again, being new under that pressure,
right?
Yeah, Tampa. Unfortunately, all the wheels fell off in Tampa. And I love my Tom Brady, but he's 45.
Yeah,
and he's a single guy, so he's going to be a pussy magnet.
And he's a free agent. He's going to play again. He's going to be on another team.
Where's he going to go? Is it? Of course, they're saying he's coming back to New England.
No,
but Mac Jones had a good game.
He's not going to New England, but I don't know. Maybe the 49ers.
Maybe the 49ers.
That's his favorite team. Home, grew up.
If Purdy
childhood team.
If Purdy can bust out another game like he did, I don't know. They might say, "Hey,
watch on Sunday."
No. It could be a one-trick pony. It could be luck, just luck. It could be
Purdy
beginner's luck. Like you said, they don't have any history on this guy, so they can exploit his weakness. Absolutely,
they will.
Yeah.
And then the very surprising Detroit Lions, who have 6 in a row, I believe. They're playing the Jets. The Jets, who are 7-5, but they need this win. Who do you like in this one? I mean, I can't imagine. I think I'm gonna pick the Detroit Lions to beat the New York Jets.
That's the way I was leaning.
That's amazing.
So just so you know, I'm not going to pick the Jets
climbing back.
You picked the Detroit Lions. So
all right,
let's go with the same one on that. Well, you do that once in a while, right?
Yeah. Okay, that's it. We got. I got the Giants. Al got the Commanders. Al likes the Niners with Purdy, and I like the Seahawks. And we both like the Detroit Lions. I never thought I'd say that, to win.
Well,
on a Sunday
improved
in the league where they play for pay. Yes, they have improved. I think we've covered what I need. Anything you need to? Where's my notes? Look at that, everybody. If you're on Patreon, of course, if you're listening, well, you miss out, folks. Join our Patreon. $5, $10, $25, whatever you want to do. It's on patreon.com. /the2dicks. Got any plugs, Al? Anything to
Well,
plug away?
I just wanted to say that we didn't talk about this Sam Bankman-Fried guy, who was the FTX CEO, who apparently embezzled money to invest in another company, and he's coming out like the victim. I'm sorry, I made a mistake, but I was not being dishonest. And dude, you took clients' money, which you're not supposed to do, and put it in a cryptocurrency company that you owned. So that's called embezzlement. But because it's crypto and the Wild West, he thinks that he's not regulated, but they have him in custody in the Bahamas, and they're going to probably extradite him in February.
Yeah, I saw the post today had it's rat infested and maggot infested, not fit for humanity. That prison.
Well, prison should be like that, and unless it's a misdemeanor.
Isn't it interesting though that Epstein's what's her name? I don't know, Maxwell. What the fuck's her first name?
Ghislaine Maxwell.
Ghislaine. She's at a minimum security prison in Florida with yoga classes. What happened with all that? Well, is that interesting?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because she's got the black book somewhere hidden, a copy of it, and everybody's name is on it. Every Republican, every Democrat, every priest, every mayor.
Someone pointed out, I thought it was very interesting too. When her trial was going on, you know what we got? The media really didn't cover it at all. And they gave us Johnny Depp, his trial.
I know.
That's what everyone watch this shiny object over here. Don't pay it.
Yeah.
No, you don't need
it's a smoke screen.
But here's Johnny Depp. Look, they're crying.
Biden's Hunter Biden's computer.
Oh, yeah.
They, Giuliani's going, we got his computer. We're going to give it up. And they go, Rudy, your name is on there too. All right, I don't know where it is.
Right. Yeah, interesting how that works. It's weird. Yeah, That guy, and then I saw like Jimmy Fallon and even Brady. They're involved in that. That guy they shilled for the crypto guy who's in jail, but didn't point out that they'd been paid. So Jimmy Fallon's on the Tonight Show going, "Hey, you should really invest in this. It's really great. This is awesome." He'd been paid already. It was a commercial on the Tonight Show. So he's being sued.
Wow.
Give
the money
Brady.
Back. Those guys are sitting on tens and hundreds of millions of dollars.
I don't think it's just a money thing. I think it was a crime. Because he didn't disclose that he was paid. So he was a shill. Yeah. It was a commercial on the Tonight Show.
Is it in the credits?
No, there's nothing. It's like when you read an ad on the radio, so you make it sound like you're really, but it's just an ad. But you make it sound like you're doing this thing, or you go to this restaurant.
NBC wouldn't allow it if he didn't. They would say you gotta.
They did. They did allow it.
What I'm saying is they did. The legal team has to look at all that stuff. So it was up to the legal team to say, "Hey,
they missed it.
Disclosure, or we don't need one." No, we don't need one in this instance. Because they're not regulated.
Sued. So
anybody, there was $1.5 billion that just went missing, and
with a B,
and $35 to $44 billion that was tied up in the collapse. So where did all that money go? Where is it? Oh, Al froze. Check it out.
Every time, but it's weird. Your picture it's funny. Your video, your picture will freeze, and then I hear you say Al froze. You know what I mean? And I can hear you clearly, but it's weird. You're frozen. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't understand how
because it's on my computer, I'm never frozen because I'm filming direct.
Hey now, I see.
So,
all right.
So anyway, we didn't cover all that.
I think anyway. Do you want to plug?
But I just wanted to say that Sam Bankman-Fried's parents.
This guy won't plug.
I will plug.
This guy won't plug.
Okay. His parents were in court in the Bahamas when they were reading all the crimes that he was being charged with. or being held for.
Yeah.
And his mother kept going, and the fugitive,
Really?
and she was laughing. And then I found out they're both lawyers. They're both on the board of universities. They're law professionals.
Okay.
So she was doing that as, well, first of all, it's her son. But I don't know if they told her, quiet, but.
Well, why was she laughing like that? I don't understand.
Every time, because when they were reading the charges brought against Sam Bankman-Fried in court, she was there in the courtroom with her husband for support. And every time they read, they called him the fugitive, because he was in the Bahamas and he was wanted in the United States.
Oh, okay.
So I guess he didn't go to the United States, so they're going to extradite him, and he says he's not going to fight the extradition, but we'll see, because he has to get some lawyers, because he's been going public saying, "Oh, it was a mistake," and you're never supposed to. You're not supposed to.
He'll get nothing. It'll be some house arrest and a fine. I mean, these things it's never a big deal. He's not going to go away for years and years. That's my prediction.
One of his
slap
things
on the wrist.
One of his things he said, "I'm going to try to make money to pay everyone back."
Okay. He can join OJ. He's looking for the real killer somewhere. So yeah.
All right.
They could form a team.
We got to go. Thanks for listening.
That's it.
Subscribe.
Good luck in prison.
Iceberg dead ahead. Don't forget to review us and rate us. It really helps.
The Talking Dicks became friends at a very young age, and the rest is history.
I'm losing my mind.
Patreon.com/The Two Dicks, which is named after our web series. This is the Talking Dicks Comedy Podcast. Thanks for tuning in.
What?
Done.
I didn't kill my wife. I don't care.
We'll fix it in post, you son of a bitch.
Okay, sure.
All right. Subscribe. Mary. This was a horrible mistake.
Go to patreon.com/The Two Dicks.
If you shoot me, you won't see a cent of that money. Why?
I think it ends on that. That's beautiful.